is Carnivore 5, and today I wanted to bring you guys a video on fielding tips and tutorials. So we're going to be talking about a little bit of everything in this video. We're going to be talking about defensive attributes, the defensive interfaces and options you can use. As far as actual gameplay tips while on the field, some things that can make you guys better on the field, and give you guys some good knowledge out there that you might not have been aware of. For some of you, this just may be a refresher, but hey, it never hurts, just to learn the basics and refresh, because sometimes that can be the difference between winning and losing. So the first thing I want to talk about is the attributes. So I'm going to focus on the Cardinals since I know most about them. So let me go to the Cardinals. So right now I just want to talk about the basic attributes of fielding. So I'm going to focus on, it don't matter, we'll just do Hayward for now. For fielding, you have a couple different attributes. You have your fielding, your arm strength, your arm accuracy, your reaction, your speed, and then you also have blocking for your catchers. So we're going to start out fielding. Fielding is the most basic attribute for defense. It affects a few things on the field. First, it's really the success rate at which a player is going to field a ball cleanly or catch the ball. Pretty simple, makes sense, right? Secondly, I don't know if a lot of you guys knew this, but it also modifies the fielder's run speed, when he's on defense. So you got to combine that with the speed. So if somebody has, like for Hayward, for instance, he might only have 75 speed on the base path, but he has 92 fielding. So on defense, he's going to be taking better routes to the ball, and he's going to be getting there a little bit quicker, as compared to, let's say, John Jay had 75 speed as well, but his fielding was only 70. Hayward's going to be covering a little more ground out there. So that's just how it works. So again, we'll talk about speed a little bit later. Let's continue on with fielding. Third, it can visually affect the fielding marker. I'm not sure if you guys were aware about this, and I'll be showing you guys footage later on of how this works in the game. You'll see the fielding marker. It can start out really, really big if you have poor fielding, or depending on the wind or how high the ball was hit. So for a fielder like Matt Holliday, who only has, I think, in the 50s, let me check, 59. So a ball hit to him, the same ball with the same trajectory that would be hit to Holliday as compared to Hayward. Holliday's fielding marker is going to be a lot bigger, and it's going to be more difficult to judge. So that's something they put in the game to simulate how difficult it can be to field for certain fielders. Next, something else you guys might want to consider is that players. Well, let me talk about players playing at their secondary and out of position completely. Now, I believe it only affects the fielding. I know the devs have came out and said there's a 20% downgrade if the player plays at a secondary, and 40% if he's out of position completely. As far as what I can tell, it hasn't affected reaction or their arm strength or accuracy or speed. That one makes sense. So I think it's just fielding, but that's still something to keep in mind when shuffling your players around. Well, like for the Cardinals, for instance, I could put Hayward in center, but his fielding would go down 20%. So it'd go down to the 70s. And then say I put Jay in right field, his fielding's at 77. So I put him in right field, go down 20%. That would be, I think, it'd be in the upper 50s. So is that really the smartest decision? Yeah, Hayward's probably going to be a little bit better overall in center, even with the downgrade. But moving Jay over to right, he's going to take he's going to be not very good over there at all, especially with his arm strength. And it's something else to consider for Diamond Dynasty. There's a lot of players like Ted Williams, Carlos Gonzalez, Mike Trout, Adam Jones, whatever. Say you have Adam Jones and Mike Trout. You might want to think twice about putting one of them in left or right field. See if you can go get a guy like Carlos Gonzalez or Cespedes that has a primary position at left field, so he's not losing any attributes. That's just something to consider. I mean, you're just going to have to weigh the risk versus the reward on that. So let's get into more attributes here. Of course, we talked about speed. Speed's universal. I mean, it's going to apply for fielding and base running. But like I said, Speed is also modified by the fielding attribute in the field. So pretty straightforward. Reaction, this is how good of jumps players will get. And this is also really important, especially for your corner infielders. So you want to pay attention to that attribute. And this applies to everything, guys. Road to the Show, franchise when you're training your players, or Diamond Dynasty. And then you have arm strength. Pretty straightforward. It's how hard a fielder can throw the ball. I've always considered arm strength to be a little overrated, especially in real life. But in the game, it can be important, especially for playing online, keeping the runners, or not allowing them to score on a base hit when they have a guy on second, or going from first to third. So it is important. You want to consider that. And arm accuracy is how accurate the throws are going to be. They're going to be online, but there's certain things that will affect arm accuracy, like the angle, or how hard the ball, or how hard it is to get to a ball and then make a throw on the run, how difficult a throw will be. It's also modified by the difficulty and the fielding interface in which you are using. So make sure you guys keep all of that in mind. For throw meter and pure analog fielding, arm accuracy is going to affect your sweet spot. As far as like throwing meter, it's going to be the green area on your meter. And analog, it's just going to be how sensitive the analog is. So like you have to be more precise in throwing to first. You better hit 90 degrees exactly, or it could be offline. Of course, that's modified by the difficulty. So now here in a little bit, guys, we're going to get to some gameplay footage, and I'm going to show you various different defensive scenarios you may encounter in a game, as well as give you some basic pointers. A lot of this is going to be mainly for outfield defense. Be sure to check out the article. I have a lot of good tips in there as well. So I mean, one of the most important things about defense is just make sure you have your guys at the right spots to optimize your defensive efficiency. But let's go ahead and get to some gameplay footage, guys. So first thing, I wanted to show you guys how to handle a rundown. You guys want to make sure you run them back halfway before you throw it. I messed up there a little bit, and then you also want to make sure you have throw canceling on, as you see it worked out there. Let's go ahead and show that again. So you want to make sure you run them back halfway before you throw it. That way you can gather momentum to tag. And do not ever throw before halfway. You actually probably want to wait till more like 60, 65% or something like that, and just keep running at them. You'll eventually get them. And then I want to show you guys just how the fielding marker works here. As you can see, Jay actually took that ball there. Oh, let's get a better one here. All right, for this one right here, you see how big that fielding marker is for Holiday? That thing started out like 30 feet away and it just carried out. I mean, a lot of that has to do with the wind, but a lot of that has to do with Matt Holiday's fielding. So let's show another example here. So right here, this is hit to center. It's not hit too high, but you see for Jay, he's got 77 fielding, so it's a little more precise and to the point where the ball is actually going to land. And back to Holiday again. You see how big that sucker is. So it's a little bit more difficult to judge fly balls with guys like that, and that's how San Diego Studios implements it into their sim engine. Again, for Matt Holiday. Look how much that thing carries, guys. That thing carried like 30 feet. So, that's just something. If you have a poor fielder, you're gonna have to, make sure you get good at that. And one key tip I have there is to make sure you guys feather your right stick, just barely, gently touch it, and try to catch the stuff on the run until you see your guy get into that animation, and then you know you have it. It's got another ball hit the center field here, and this is a tag-up situation. You guys see the yellow shaded area. That's where you want to get your guy at to gather momentum. So this is a key situation. I don't know if he's going to be safe or not, so you want to take that risk. Get behind it. Make sure you get behind it all the way. Now, if that's hit the deep right field, there's no reason to get behind it. He's going to be safe anyway. Here's what I'm talking about here is a tag-up at home. I just went and got it with Hayward, and he made a wonderful throw here. I mean, that's just... I didn't really have an opportunity to get behind it, but... those are just some examples of what runners are on. Then right here, I missed it. Hayward missed it with 92 fielding. I didn't take the best route to the ball. What I should have done was go straight back and took more of like a hook route and then come in and get it. But sometimes you don't have a choice to take but to take a direct route. So he should have caught it, but you know, if you don't take the best route, sometimes you miss it. Like right here, I'm taking another direct route, but I got stuck into the animation and he did catch it. Hayward, I think, just missed it. He should have caught it. But if you guys have time to make that hook route, you do want to come from behind the ball and come in. So another one here. This is just, you know, easy. You don't want to tag up there. Just make the throw home. Oh man. Again, you guys see when it's hit the Hayward, the fielding markers, it's not as big. You have to keep in mind though that ball was hit super high, and but it was still fairly easy to judge that ball with Hayward. See, like right here, you guys see how much that ball just travels. That has a little bit to do with the wind, but again, it has mostly to do with Holiday's poor fielding. So just keep that in mind. Again, this is a great example of how difficult it can be to judge a fly ball with somebody like Holiday. That thing just kept hooking and hooking. So just make sure you guys feather the stick. You don't want to come set right away. You don't want to stop right away. You want to just keep feathering the stick and slowly walking until you get stuck into that animation. And then, like for instance, right here, I have time to get behind it. I got a little too far behind it, and that actually right here I have Hayward in center. I switched it to. I got a little too far behind it. That really probably wasn't worth the risk because he wasn't going to tag up at first anyway. So that was a mistake on my part. That's something you guys want to consider. If you don't need to get behind it, don't do it. I made the switch. I got Jay in right and Hayward in center right now. So Hayward right now is taking a 20% hit in center field, and you can see his ball marker is, the fielding marker is a little bit bigger, and it's a little more difficult to judge, as you can tell from right there. And then I got Jay in right field, so his fielding is down to, you know, in the 50s. So that's something to consider. Again, right here, sometimes you don't have a chance to feather the stick. You just have to run straight at the ball in the gap and hope he comes down with it. And that's what Hayward did there. Again, you guys can see that the fielding marker is a little bit bigger compared to when Hayward was in right, and it's about the same as when Jay was in center. So again, there's no point to really switch it to. I just wanted to show you guys what it actually looks like. And the video is coming to an end. I hope you guys have learned a few things. Something else I would like to talk about before the video comes to an end is make sure you guys use throw canceling, as you saw earlier. It helped in that rundown. Experiment with all the different fielding interfaces. You can get the most out of pure analog and throwing meter. And for turning double plays, I didn't show that this game, but make sure you guys are just smart about it and know your player's limits. And that's going to be the end of the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. This is Cardinal Bird 5 signing out, guys. See you next time.